Real people, real cases. This is Verdict Watch.
We're on the record in the matter of residences on Penn versus LaWanda White, 2402075.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Christopher Morgan for the plaintiff.
Good afternoon.
Your Honor, clients are present.
Property manager.
I'm Gennaro Casey, maintenance supervisor.
Hi, LaWanda White.
All right, hello. Okay, so today we're all back here today, and okay, so Counsel, I know that you've all been out there. Did you have a chance to communicate, or what was going on?
We did have a chance to speak. We did not reach a resolution on the current rental balance.
All right, ma'am, did you deposit your November, December, January rent?
And
February. And February, okay. And then did you email into Carrie with the utility bills?
Yes,
for
I did.
November, December, and January?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so counsel, did you have, oh, I'm sorry. Did you communicate with Carrie with those bills?
Ms. Carey stated that she never received the email with those bills.
Where's Miss Carrie? Okay, please show Mr. Borkin the
Here's the email.
email.
Two actual bills.
Yes, but that's the email that
Your Honor, to make a very brief point about the boiler and the heat issue, plaintiff's core claim is that any boiler repairs, any intermittent heat outages as a result of the boiler being out are irrelevant on the basis that the defendant was provided heaters. And the defendant had the ability to plug in a heater, run a heater, keep her apartment habitable. There's nothing in the lease, there's nothing in Michigan law that says a boiler needs to be functioning. Admittedly, the property needs to be warm and comfortable. It was. Any lack of using the heaters was Ms. White's own decision. Actually, the court's record reflected last time that the temperature in the unit was in the 60s. It was habitable.
Right, and the issue, one of the main issues that you're all coming back for is the credit regarding utility bills, because using those heaters was increasing the utility bills. So that's why we had Ms. White email Carrie with the utility bill. So do you see that she emailed her with the utility bills?
I do see the email. I have not seen that.
What's the date of the email?
The 5th of February.
No. No, the date on the email is January 27th.
Right. Okay. So, and then Ms. Carrie saying she didn't even receive it?
She stated she didn't receive any emails from.
Well, it's showing that she sent the email.
Yes.
Can you please provide Mr. Borkin with the utility bills, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if I could please see those.
You wanted to see them as well?
Yes, Steve, you can grab this. All right, thank you. And so I believe, Ms. Kenora, is that okay if I call you Ms.
Yes, ma'am.
Kenora? That the reason we were having Ms. White email these into Carrie was because, counsel or Ms. White, somebody stated that, she would have been issued a credit for the extra utilities, but Carrie didn't have that information to do that with, correct?
Correct.
All right, and so Ms. White,
Yes.
what is it that you feel, so what is it that you believe is a fair resolution?
Well, I asked, speaking with the attorney earlier, well, I gave the 4 money orders, which was $35.16. I asked for a $500 credit, but they want to credit me off the balance of 41 something.
Okay, why do we have two different amounts?
Well, my rent amount is $879. We have the balance of late fees and attorney
Okay,
fees.
hold on.
Your
So
Honor,
$879 per month is what Ms. White is
Yes.
saying, rent is, but counsel, I'm presuming that you're saying rent is a different amount.
that's correct, Your Honor. The defendant has signed a lease with a rental rate of $943. I'm happy to provide that lease rate.
And here's every rental, money order receipt.
Hold on. What is the date of the new lease?
The date that that lease is signed was November 22nd, 2023.
Okay, do you recall signing a new lease November of 23?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There is, the rent is $943, but every month you get $143 concession. So my rent is $800 plus the $79 in utilities.
Okay,
So
what's
that's
up?
$879.
Okay, what's a $143 concession? What is that?
It's just a monthly concession that they give you off your rent.
Everybody gets that?
I mean, that's what my lease is. You will see it in the lease running all the way down 143, and the rent is 800 plus the 79 utilities.
Okay, it runs through your lease. It says
Yeah, that's
what's the concession, $143?
The $143 is what Pepper Pike gave her off her rent because she was having issues.
Okay, hold on. Let me have all three of you please raise your right hands again.
Yes.
You solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay, so Pepper Pike was giving $143 concessions.
Correct.
Okay. Is that accurate, Ms. White?
No, ma'am.
Not accurate.
No, ma'am.
Pepper Pike was not giving you $143
No.
concessions.
No, ma'am.
Okay,
I have, a ledger prior to Pepper Pike. You can see the $143 every month. It's just a concession that went with your lease. It has nothing to do with the DTE bills or anything.
I understand that. I'm just confused. What I'm very confused on is the purpose of a concession. If it's every month, why wouldn't the rent just be set at a different amount? But, Ms. Kenora, when did the current management company take over the property?
April 14, 2024.
Okay. And I'm sorry, what's the name of the management company again?
LR Management.
LR Management. Okay, so when did these concessions end?
They don't end. They go all the way through my lease.
Okay, is there something in the lease, the written lease that you signed in November that says that you are receiving $143 in concessions?
I didn't bring the lease with me, but I do have a ledger that shows the $143 running consecutively every month.
Your Honor, there's nothing in the lease providing a $143 concession.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, ma'am, can you show that to Mr. Morgan there, please?
This is as of 6/9/23, and you'll see the concessions going all the way back to
Your Honor, I can
7/22.
see there's a $143 credit being made each month.
Okay, but we don't know what that credit was for, and that was with the prior company, correct?
No, it's with Pepper Pike. Here it is. Here's the lease here's the ledger with Pepper Pike as of 6/9/23. And you can see it go all the way back to 4/22, and you will see concession for $143
Okay.
every month.
I hear what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
and there's clearly concessions.
Mhm.
However, when was the last concession of $143 on the ledger?
It would have been in October because I paid October rent of $879.
October of 24?
Yes, ma'am.
So was Ms. White receiving concessions since your company took over? The company, I say your company, ma'am, but I mean the company you work
I
for.
know. Okay, so. when-
Yes or no?
I'm sorry, yes,
She was,
she was.
okay? Why was she receiving $143 in concessions every month?
When we took over, we was trying to find out why the residents was having concessions every month, and that was something that Pepper Pike was doing if, Ms. White was complaining that she didn't have no heat with Pepper Pike, so they gave her a concession. So in April, she was supposed to renew her lease, that's the reason why it says 2023. I didn't come aboard to June, but the previous manager was supposed to renew her lease, and he did not. So we continued the concession because Ms. White continued, when we first got aboard, she was stating that she didn't have no heat with with Pepper Pike, the previous managers. So Ms. Carey asked her to send her all her bills. When she did, I guess you guys, they came to court, and Mr. Sidney came to court, I want to say in October 31st. From the time we started, they wiped her account to $15. And then when it was time to come back and for her to pay rent, she stated she didn't have any heat and she wasn't paying any rent.
Okay, so you said they wiped her balance to zero, so she didn't have to pay any rent for those months?
They cleared her account
Okay,
because she did show the bills and she had came to court
Okay.
and Sydney agreed.
That's incorrect.
okay, what's incorrect? about
That's
that?
incorrect. They didn't wipe my balance plan. I came to court in October the 13th, because they were taking me to court for April's rent that they hadn't received, but I had already paid it. So that's why I was coming to court. All those were late fees tacked on each month. That's the balance that they wiped away. I didn't get credit for no heat or anything last season.
Okay, but what I've just done is I did a quick math, without a calculator, because I can't do that quick math. That quick, $1,716, which is $143 concession times 12 months. Okay, so that seems to be the concessions that you've been receiving for not having your heat working properly.
That's not what it's for. It's not for that.
What is it for?
It's just a concession. When I sign my lease, it's $143 off of your rent every month. You can see it in the ledger.
Okay, I understand what you're saying with the ledger. Where's the lease that says that you?
I mean, I didn't know that I had to bring the lease. Had I known that, I would have brought the lease, but I brought all, like I said, the ledger. It goes all the way back to 22,
Right.
where it's showing 104. I didn't have heat all that time. And
Okay.
even in the summer, I get the $143.
Okay, so there's clearly no, dispute that you were receiving $143 credit or concession, whatever it wants to be called. But what I'm saying, so then Ms. Kenora stated that, Pepper Pike told her that you were receiving concession of $143 a month because you didn't have heat.
That's a perk for signing a lease.
What's that?
That's a perk for signing a lease.
A
That's why it's
$1,700 credit
ongoing.
for signing the lease?
That's why it's ongoing, yes. I wish I had the lease. Had I known, I would have brought it to you, but
Well, right, that would be very helpful.
yeah, well, I didn't know that.
Your Honor, I'm happy to present the lease to you. It shows the rental rate at $943. There are no adjustments.
You have the rental, you have the lease for 22?
From the lease that was signed, November 22nd, 2023.
Okay. Does it say anything in there about concessions?
No.
Okay. Can you please show that to Ms. White?
I can go through the whole lease if you'd like.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's different other forms that comes with the lease packet, and it has all those amounts on there. And like I said, even with the utilities. Because the utilities are separate from the rent.
Your Honor, I'm attempting to pull up the addenda, but
Thank you.
the defense summary. That's the first addenda. That's the next addenda. This is not right.
I may add, John.
Hold on just a moment,
That's
please.
still incorrect. That's not what the one, that's not what the 143 is for. It's-
I'm showing you the lease.
I know what you're saying.
I'm not asking, is this correct? There's a utility and services addendum.
Mhm.
Sign that. That's with addendum. Well, the addendum. Asbestos. File agreement.
Yeah, I don't know why I would be paying $879, just all, I mean, they're gonna give me a continuous, credit for no heat even in the summertime, that's incorrect.
Okay, but what I don't understand is
Mhm.
how somebody is receiving $143 in concessions when, why wouldn't the rental rate just be $800 a month?
That's what, I don't know, that's what I don't understand, yes, that is true, it's $943, you'll see the credit for 143 every month, so my rent is $800, and I pay $79 dollars in utilities, so I pay a flat rate of $879.
Okay. So here's the thing. Your client has continued to honor that $143 concession.
Gratuitously, yes.
For whatever reason, they've still been honoring that. So we're gonna calculate the rent right now at the $879, which would include the utilities, not the $943.
Your Honor, she has signed a lease for a different rental rate.
Right, and your client has continued to give the $143 in concessions.
But those
Since she
concessions
signed,
don't-
after she signed that lease, whatever those concessions are, your client has continued to reduce her rent by $143 every month.
Your Honor, that does not form a separate contract. The lease still controls. If there's an integration clause, the what amount is on the ledger doesn't come into play.
So counsel, your client has continuously given your client's, or Ms. White's ledger, a credit of $143 per month.
Right.
So why now, for November, December, January, February, are we going to calculate that at a different amount? And not give her the $143
Because
credit?
it's conceding the credit without any good cause. It's given gratuitously, and it shouldn't be given as part of this case. If there are credits given, it should be related to the repairs, not gratuitous credits that she's already getting.
What is the reason those gratuitous credits ceased?
They have not ceased, they're still being provided.
Okay, so for purposes of calculating what she owes, I'm going to calculate it with the $143 per month concession. That's what I'm trying to say.
I understand. I believe she's already getting a fair concession, this plaintiff's stance in this.
Which is what?
$143 a month is a starting point of what would cover the excess electricity costs that she incurred.
Okay, so I think we're all kind of saying the same thing. So she owes November, so you're stating that November, December, January, February rent,
Mhm.
okay? You're saying at $943, she's saying $879, which includes the utilities,
Mhm.
okay? Does your $943 include utilities?
No.
No,
Just the fact.
okay. So I'm not going to include utilities for that purpose. So multiply 943 by 4 months. Is $3,772. You multiply $800 times 4 months, that's $3,200. Okay. Now, Miss White
Yes.
is willing, she stated that she thinks a fair resolution is $500 credit on $3,200. Right?
Off the 3516.
35.16.
If I pay
I'm not including utilities right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm not including utilities.
Okay,
Okay.
yes.
And so if you subtract that $500 credit, that's at $2,700. Okay?
Mhm.
Right, that's accurate math right now? And counsel, you had indicated that you were willing to give a $1,000 credit as a resolution? That was the last time we were here,
No, there was no,
21, on the 21st.
no, I don't believe that's accurate. I'm not trying to,
I thought that's what you stated last time, $1,000 credit and move on. Not any, I mean, whether it's for heat bills or what have you, you had stated $1,000 credit. Where's that at?
I believe we were very careful not to place specific amounts offered in negotiation settlements, or settlement negotiations, on the
Something
record.
I could have it confused with another one. You're correct, you did not write the dollar amount that you had stated, so I apologize. That was my mistake, I must have gotten that, mixed up with another one, good thing I take notes. Okay, so. Well, the purpose of that exercise was to show that we're within $72 based upon what I thought was $1,000 offer, right? That it was kind of the same dollar amount almost. So, and how much have you paid in utilities?
$79 per month. You talk about with residents or paying or with DTE?
Well, what are the utilities for residences on Penn?
Pest control, garbage removal.
Okay,
um,
DTE, so I'm talking about the DTE cost.
Okay, you have those, one was $211, one was $235, and the other one was $81.50.
Okay. So what is your average utility bill for
It usually range from about $72 to $82.
Okay. So the month of, let's see here. November. It shows 235 was the total current in December. The 177.20 was paid in full, so 235 was the amount, was the utility, was the cost for December. So you subtract, you take $80, subtract $80 from that. That leaves $155.38 over what she usually pays, it appears.
Your Honor, could I make a brief point about December, less than 30 seconds?
Okay,
I do have documentation if the court is interested. The boiler was repaired December 14th. It was, complaints were provided to management December 13th. The boiler was repaired and operating.
well, at one point, there was something that was operating, however, her heat was not restored until January 14th of 25, because on January 14th, the part that inside her unit was done. January 14th is when the part was inside her unit, so she could finally have heat. So
That part.
there
was not-
was something that was done in December, but then there was something extra that was done in January, and she finally had heat restored. And I think
But January was just preventative, that the parts that are in her apartment are not why she has heat. Those are so it don't go back out.
Correct,
Excuse me.
correct.
They're just bleeder valves, which means she can remove air from her line from there instead of having to go downstairs to the boiler room. So sometimes certain lines get air stuck in them more often, so they install bleeder valves so that way they can just let air out from there instead of in the boiler room.
okay,
But that
well,
doesn't give her heat.
okay. My notes show that heat was restored to her on January 14th of 25.
That's right.
That's what my notes show from the last hearing.
No, that's probably correct. I just wanted to just clarify that the part is not, that's not what, she needed for heat. That was just a preventative measure.
Okay, all right. So it was restored January 14th of 25. That's the day I'm gonna go with. That's what I wrote down last time.
It was restored December the 14th, and then the boiler, the boiler was, her heat was restored for the boiler December 14th. They sent that in writing that it was, but they went above to order the valves, so when they bleed the line, they can do it from her unit instead of doing it from downstairs in the boiler room.
Okay, so. All right. But I'm still going with January 14th. That's what was stated last time when her unit was restored heat.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay, and then the amount for January 16th shows 211.16. Less $80. $131.16. Okay. So, presuming that Carrie wanted the utilities emailed to her to determine what the credit would be, right? I'm taking the $80 that you said that it was somewhere between $75 and $85.
Yes,
So I picked it at $80. So, you take the $155.38 plus the $131.16, that's $286.54. Okay, so that's what this court's going to order that you receive in a credit back from utilities.
Okay.
As a credit, because you paid extra for the heaters that were there, okay?
Like you said, 286.
$286.54. Now, as far as what she owes for rent, based upon the concessions that she has been receiving every month, you take the $879 amount, because obviously the pest control and that whatnot has to get included in that, and you multiply that by 4 months, that gives you $35.16. So $3,516 less the $286.54 equals $3,229.46. That is what this court's going to order must be released from escrow to plaintiff. And then the court's going to state that's Ms. White's paid in full through February. Now, I'm not going to get into moving forward as of March 1st, what that concession is, what it isn't. All I'm saying is that there's been a history, whether it's gratuitous or not, there's been a history of $143 every month being credited to Ms. White's account. Despite even having the new management company take over.
Correct.
So if there's a new lease, whatever it may be, right, that's something moving forward, if that's what's happening, that's what's happening. And ma'am, if there's a new lease and they don't give you the concession or whatever it is, then, you know, that's their prerogative. I don't even know what in the world that even is. I've never heard of that ever. However, it had continuously occurred. So that's why the court's taking that into account for these proceedings.
Can they just keep all 4 money orders and I just pay the difference in March? I mean, you know, with the $15 credit and the $286.54, can I just pay the difference for March? And they just take all 4 money orders that I gave you for escrow?
Okay, well, potentially, but I think that's going to be an accounting nightmare. However,
Okay.
I just think,
Okay.
my thought was this would be a clean, finality
Okay.
to this matter and then start fresh March 1st. Because I do see that becoming an accounting nightmare.
Okay,
That's all I'm saying,
all right.
okay? So, the court's going to order a judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,229.46. Escrow to be released in that amount to plaintiff. The balance to defendant. Okay? And your heat's still working well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
All right, and then the court, well, let's not say the case for an eviction because it's an escrow order, so it's already been paid. Okay, so,
Thank you, Your Honor. Is it-
so instead of entering as a judgment, counsel, I think that it should be an order releasing escrow. And it can be after hearing, that's fine, because I'm sure that you don't agree with me utilizing the 879 amount, so it doesn't have to be as consent, it can be after hearing. And, you know, I'm sure Ms. White doesn't agree that she's only getting $286.54 back for utility, payment. But, I think that the most efficient way to have that, so it's not a judgment against Ms. White, is for it to be an order releasing escrow or an order regarding escrow. So just to clarify, $3,229.46 is to be released to the plaintiff, the balance released to defendant.
Mhm.
Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. You read my mind, that was my question.
Okay, so let me return those back to Ms. White, please. Okay, and counsel, you can prepare that order, correct?
Yes, I will direct the Texas office to do that immediately.
Very good, thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks for watching Verdict Watch. New court drama every day. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a case. Leave a comment with your thoughts. We're watching too.